Hello, my strong Leos. How are you? It is Haley with Tarot from Beyond here to provide you with your September 2018 tarot reading. Let's get going because I notice that when I get to explaining, time gets to going and I don't want to run out of time, and I want to make sure that you understand this month's theme. Each month comes with a theme that the divine wants us to stick to so that we can really focus on what we need to focus on in this moment so that it will prepare us for the next moment. So you pulled wisdom as your oracle card. And if you weren't seeking wisdom, you wouldn't have pulled this card. See, this card basically explains you could read all the books in the world that you want and attain knowledge, but if you don't understand what you've read, you really didn't gain any wisdom, did you? Because maybe you didn't take the time to read the sentences maybe 2, 3, 4 times, however many times you needed to read it in order to really understand what you read. Wisdom and knowledge are different. You know, wisdom comes from understanding that you are a spirit having a human experience, first of all. And so all of the experiences that led up to today, they were meant to teach you how to be wise. Just like the concept of reading a book, right? If you didn't understand what you read, did you really learn anything? Because you can have all the knowledge in the world and acquire all the facts in the world, but if you don't really understand this knowledge, then it does not evolve into wisdom. So this card is asking you to realize and understand first and foremost that life in this incarnation, in past incarnations, and in future incarnations, we are here to learn through the experiences that we experience. And so this question asks you to ask yourself, through your experiences in the past, what have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about yourself? This card also cautions against denying the fact that we all have our polar opposites about ourselves. And other people do too. We have the potential to be the best that we can be and the worst that we can be. We are all guilty of judging others, putting our needs before others, being selfish. We all have been intolerant. We've all been, we're all guilty of a lot of the things that, we condemn others for. And that's just the truth. Polarization is a very important concept to understand, because without understanding that, you won't understand how to create. And I'm going to use the example of the magnet as I've done in several other zodiac readings for September. It takes a positive ion and a negative ion to create something completely different, a magnet. Right? Create is the key word. I'll say that again. It takes a positive ion and a negative ion to create something entirely different. So it took something positive and it took something negative to create something completely different. That's why we must have our polar aspects to ourselves. We must have the part of ourself that is very full of light, and then there's that part of ourself, that has that that potential to be imperfect. We are imperfect and, fallible beings. But see, wisdom comes through experience. The experiences that you've had in your life. How are you understanding these experiences? Are you looking at them as things that are like, oh, this just sucks. Ugh, right? Or are you saying, you know what? Yeah, that experience wasn't as pleasant as I would have liked for it to be, but I damn sure learned a lot through it. And as a result, it's going to assist me in my future. Because when I see similar situations arise, I have already read that book and put it in my library, which is your brain, so that I can apply what I've learned through my experiences to my future situations. That is how you obtain wisdom, okay? By first understanding that life is simply an experience. And it's the accumulation of your experiences that have taught you to be the person that you are. All of the choices that you've made and the choices of others around you have made from the time that you were a wee little baby to the current moment has made you who you are. So look back at your experiences, whether they be good or bad according to how you perceive them, and know that those experiences only came about for your growth, because that is how you attain wisdom. Okay? So let's go into your cards, my loves. I'm going to cut them because I can't shuffle and hold the phone. But you know nothing's been rigged. Now, the 9 of Swords, 3 of Swords, Seven of Wands, 4 of Wands, 4 of Swords, the Knight of Swords. Ooh, you guys are deep in thought, aren't you? Look at all those swords and look at all that action. Some of you are full of anxiety. Some of you are heartbroken. Some of you are defensive. Some of you are in happy relationships. Some of you are just tired of the way things are going. But see, this King of Swords is really relevant with regards to the Oracle card that you pulled, because swords represent thought. And if you're the king of thought, that's telling me that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. See how he's got that lantern and he's moving forward and he's out there by himself? There's a reason why he's by himself, because it takes being by yourself for you to be able to communicate with your higher self. It really does. It takes being by yourself for a substantial amount of time. I mean, designate a substantial amount of time to yourself on a daily basis. I don't care if it's 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. Make sure it's a daily process of you doing this. You seek who you are. Who are you today based on all of your experiences? Okay? And understand that through experience, you attain wisdom. Okay? Good and bad. If I were to put this into a whole story, I can clearly see some of you are in relationships with a dictator. Some of you are in love with a dictator that breaks your heart, gives you nothing but anxiety. And anxiety is usually provoked by the feeling of not being able to trust the individual. And you're defensive against this person because this person's a dictator. This person likes to tell you what to do, and they're breaking your heart because you love them. See, love comes with a double-edged sword, doesn't it? Love is the absence of judgment. A lot of us know how to love other people, until the wheels fall off. But when it comes to loving ourselves, we're still on our training wheels. We know how to accept other people's imperfections, so much so that we will allow ourselves to remain in relationships that come with heartache and heartbreak for years, hoping that things will get better. But what is your wisdom telling you about this relationship based on your past experiences? For those of you who are in this current situation, you may be in a relationship where you're just full of anxiety. This person brings you nothing but anxiety. Hurts your feelings, breaks your heart, makes you feel like you got to defend your character, defend who, you might even literally be actually having to defend yourself from this person putting their hands on you too. And you're tired of it. That's what the Four of Swords represents. You're tired of it. This confirms that we're talking about a relationship. And the King of Swords, the King of, I know how to use my mind. See, this is not your energy. I'm feeling like this is the energy of the individual that you're dealing with. See, when I see this, I can clearly see that the person that you're with is not with you so much because they love you. They're with you because they have an agenda. That's why you're experiencing all of this, excuse my French, bullshit. Now, I'm going to talk about the value in having a very close, intimate relationship with your higher self, the part of yourself that, according to the human perspective, is very difficult to access. It's really not. And I'll give you the example that I gave Aries, and I'll make it quick. Here I am. I understand the concept of polarization, creation, and the law of attraction, But I woke up this morning at 7 a.m. to take my son to school. I went to bed at 3 a.m. because I want to make sure that everybody gets their readings within the 3-day period of the full moon that occurred last night on the 26th. Because now is the time for you guys to set your intentions on what it is that you want. And when you do that, you could either make it a ritual or you actually purchase a new journal that has never been written in, put your right hand over it and say, these are my full moon intentions that I expect to come to fruition. Thank you, Divine. You can also smudge out with this holy wood, put it around yourself and put it around the book. Make sure that you use pen rather than pencil and write down what your intentions are in your life and what you want your life to be. Use words like I am and I have. I have an excellent understanding of my higher self. I speak to my higher self just like she's speaking to me in this reading. Me and my higher self are like this. So back to the example I was going to provide you. Given everything that I understand, I have really been diligent about making sure that I've learned what I needed to learn to provide you guys with what you need and what will assist you guys in actually making the changes that you actually want to see in your life. So I went to bed at 3 a.m., woke up at 7, so I'm exhausted, right? And I live in Los Angeles County. And I know you've heard about Los Angeles County traffic, right? I'm going to be honest with you. This morning, I was in such a horrible mood. Seriously. I just was not in the mood to be in all that traffic with all these me people who refuse to let you over in the next lane. I mean, people can kindly, easily let you over in the next lane. It literally will not affect their day by a second. An act of kindness on their behalf to let me over. I mean, people in LA County just don't seem to understand that concept. Some do, but not very many. I'm telling you, it's cutthroat out there in them freeways and in that traffic. And this morning, I was just so irritated by all of those me people who refuse to just let you over in the next lane so you can get on the freeway, or so that you can make the left that you need to make because you made a right turn and you were in the right lane. Now you got to get over in the left lane to make your left turn. And I just got so pissed this morning. I was so annoyed. Where am I going with this? See, my internal factors then manifested externally. I woke up in the morning, I was tired, I was in a bad mood because I was like, man, I really wish that my husband would at least take the kids to school in the morning and then I'll pick them up. You know, but a lot of what I do is based on his schedule, which is a bone of contention in our relationship. However, you know, I'm sharing with you personal things so that you can relate to what I'm getting ready to teach you, so that you can change all of this. Whatever's going on inside of you is going to manifest externally, and I'll make it simple. If you love yourself, you're going to attract people who love you. If you hate yourself, you're going to attract people who hate you. If you don't trust yourself, you're going to attract people who are untrustworthy. If you continue to break your own heart by thinking negative thoughts about your own self and you stealing from your own self, then you're going to attract people who will break your heart. If you're defensive against change and you're defensive against growth, you know what? You're going to find that you're going to be in situations where you're always defensive, either toward people or a situation or whatever. If something within you creates anxiety, then you're going to attract situations that further perpetuate anxiety. And I see that a lot of you are just tired of being in this place, in this relationship, because some of you are really in love with a dictator. Love is not about dictation and trying to indoctrinate certain things in you. Love is about sharing, caring, being assistive toward each other. So are you assisting yourself, Leo? Are you loving yourself? Because if not, you're going to attract people like this who come into your life not to love you, but because you serve a purpose for them. And it's clear that the only reason why they're in this relationship with you is to serve a purpose. It's clear. Look at all the swords. This person is doing nothing but thinking all the time of how they can maneuver in your life to get what they want to get out of you. Because somebody who loves you is not going to make you feel defensive, break your heart, make you feel full of anxiety, and just literally get you to a place where you feel like, man, I'm tired of this. Understand that we all have our polar opposites, okay? Not only ourselves, but also other people. So when other people, let's use an example, somebody does something negative, right? If you respond negatively now, we have a negative plus a negative which further perpetuates negativity, right? But if you respond positively to their negativity, and in the beginning, what's going to happen is it's just going to neutralize the situation. It's going to create, and the key word is create, neutrality, okay? Because a lot of us are on our training wheels with understanding the part of ourselves that's not, so obvious. Oh, we understand the physical part of ourselves because we know that we have to bathe our bodies, we have to care for our bodies, we have to get up, go to work, take care of business, do this, do that. We understand the flesh very well because we're in the flesh. But there's a part of us that's really silent that we must listen to. And back to the example of me taking my son to school. Look, this morning I was so pissed being in that traffic this morning. I'm telling you, somebody refused to let me over. So what I did was I got in the next lane that was completely free. There was one lane that had a long line, and I had my indicator on trying to say, "Excuse me, please let me over." This person refused to let me over. So what I did was I got in the other lane that was completely free. And when they made their turn, I made my turn too. And this person gave me the bird. And do you know the conscious part of me, the flesh part of me wanted to say, son, roll down that right window so I can go ahead and let this person know what time it is. Right? And I was so pissed. But you know what? On my way back home, there was a part of me, real silent part of me that was like, that's not how you were supposed to behave. That's not how you were supposed to act. That. See, our higher selves are always trying to communicate with us, but we dismiss the voice of our higher selves quite often because it's a less familiar part of ourselves. It's a part of ourselves that actually requires some conscious effort on our part to learn and become familiar with. And that is key to being able to be specific with the positive responses that you provide to negative situations in your life to create a specific outcome in your life so that every day, in every moment, you're so familiar with your higher self, right? To the point where it becomes completely natural for you to know exactly what positive response to provide to negative situations or negative people in our life so that we can create the outcome that we want. Let's use the example of the magnet. There's a positive ion and there's a negative ion. The positive ion by itself is just that. The negative ion by itself is just that. But when you put them together, it creates something entirely new. Keyword is create. We are creators. We are limitless beings that are meant to create. We are meant to create. You can create the life that you want for yourself. So I explained the law of attraction and how the way we feel about ourselves is projected on the exterior. So if you are in a relationship, with someone that, invokes all of these negative emotions, ask yourself, why are you accepting this? Why are you accepting this relationship? Ask yourself that. Why are you accepting this? Because as long as you continue to accept it, you know what you're saying to the universe? Present me with many more opportunities that are very similar to this. Or you can say, you know what? I know this relationship isn't serving me at all. I'm tired of my heart being broken and always being left, staying up at night, not getting any rest because I'm over here thinking so much to the point where I can't get a wink of sleep. I'm always defending myself against this person. This person's like a police officer. And so when people in our lives, whether it be our husbands, our wives, our children, our coworkers, our boss, no matter who it is, a person at the grocery store, just a random person on the street, no matter what, when a person responds negatively or does something negative, if you respond positively and methodically positively to create a methodical creation, a methodical outcome, then you will have started to understand the concept of creation and how to create the life that you want and how to attract the people in your life that you want. Everything that's going on the inside is a reflection of what's going on the outside. So ask yourselves, why do you have anxiety? Because that's what's being brought forth to you is anxiety. And mind you, anxiety, heartbreak, and feeling defensive, these are all feelings that you consent to. If you don't consent to them, then guess what? You're now saying to the universe, I don't consent to these feelings. And then guess what? The universe is going to say, then I'm not going to present you with any opportunities or situations that provoke or invoke anxiety, heartbreak, and having to feel defensive. Being exhausted and tired. Some of you are losing sleep over this. If you want to create the life that you want, I want you to set the intention with this full moon energy because we have until the 28th. The full moon was on the 26th. Today is the 27th. You have until the 28th to set your intentions as to what it is that you want in your life. I mean, you could write a million things or you could just write one thing, but if you could do me a favor, if there's anything that you could do for me, one of them I would like for you to write. I have an amazing relationship with my higher self. I know how to listen to the voice of my subconscious very well. I am developing my relationship with my higher self quickly and accurately. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to come natural to you how to respond positively to whatever negative situation that tries to come your way. And you know exactly how to create that outcome that you want. That's how you manifest and that's how you create. Make sure that you look at yourself and ask yourself, what rules have I imposed? Not only on myself, but also on others based on past relationships. Because when you do that, what happens is those rules, they become baggage, don't they? Because the last person is not like the new person that you're going to get with, right? So why would you impose the rules that the old partner somehow created in you that made you feel like you needed to create these rules? Why does this new person in your life have to adhere to the rules that you imposed because of your experience in this relationship? I hope that made sense. Because rules can easily become baggage. Yes, there are boundaries that we have to set in every relationship. I keep mine brief. Respect me. And respect encompasses a lot of things, right? Don't lie to me. Don't cheat on me, right? Respect me. Respect me encompasses a lot of things. And once you step out of bounds, then I know what category you belong in my life. And when you don't put up with things that you know are not healthy for you, you are sending out a signal to the universe stating, don't send me situations that provoke these feelings. And then the universe will adhere to what you're not dealing with. If you choose not to deal with heartache, then the universe will adhere to that and will say, then I will no longer present you with opportunities and situations and people that break your heart. Know that life is simply a journey full of experiences meant to teach us and give us the wisdom that we need toward our next step in life. If you find yourself in an unhealthy relationship and you know that it's unhealthy, stage left, exit, free yourself and liberate yourself from this relationship. There's nothing wrong with being single at all. As a matter of fact, it offers you the opportunity to do what you need to do with you, which is spend more time with you and recognize the voice of your subconscious, which is less familiar to us. Because what I'm teaching you are subconscious concepts, but I'm trying to do it in a way to where the human conscious can grasp it. And I know a lot of you got this. If you're in an unhealthy relationship where people are breaking your heart and literally making you sick and just tired, literally keeping you up at night, why are you in it? Ask yourself, why are you in it? Leo, sometimes, we can be so good at loving other people despite their crap, but then when it comes to loving ourselves despite our crap, we're not so good at that. It's time for us to start loving ourselves so that we can attract people who love us. It's time to start trusting yourself so that you can attract people that you can trust. That's how it works. So if this reading resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, I ask that you hit like and subscribe and leave your comments. For my new subscribers, welcome and thank you. And for my subscribers currently, I thank you also for sticking with me and for going on this journey with me, because I'm telling you, we're learning together. Love yourself, Leo, no matter what you're going through, because you're going to attract people who love you back. So with that being said, ponder on this reading, and I will talk to you soon.